Sand dunes. In this video you will be looking at what a sand dune is, factors needed for formation, how they form, their characteristics and how they change inland. Okay, sand dunes are large heaps of sand formed on the dry backshore of a sandy beach. There are a number of factors needed to create sand dunes. The first one is that you need a large sandy beach. They also need a large tidal range, so there is time for the sand to dry. There needs to be wind to move the sand back up the beach, and there needs to be an obstacle such as driftwood or seaweed for the sand dune to form against. Okay, let's have a look at how sand dunes form. So wind transports sand up the beach. The sand is trapped by an obstacle such as driftwood, and over time the amount of sand builds up. As the pile of sand gets steeper, it becomes unstable and may collapse under its own weight. When this happens, finer, lighter sand particles may fall down the other side. Once an angle of 30 to 34 degrees is reached, this dune becomes stable. Then vegetation such as marram grass starts to grow on these small dunes, and the roots will help bind the sand together. This adds to the dune stabilisation. Eventually the plants will die and rot, leading to more organic matter being added to the sand, which allows more vegetation to grow. New, smaller dunes will start to develop in front of the original dune. So let's have a look at the characteristics of a sand dune. The top of the sand dune is known as the crest, and these are up to 15 meters high. The windward side of the sand dune is the beginning of the dune, and this is gently sloping. The leeward side is much steeper. It is usually unstable until it reaches its ideal angle of 30 to 34 degrees. Now we'll have a look at how dunes change as you go inland. Firstly, there is a colour change. Dunes closest to the beach have the yellow sandy colour, whereas dunes further back have a more greyish colour. This is because over time more organic matter has been added to these sand dunes. It can also be observed that dunes closest to the beach have little vegetation, where there is more colonisation of mature vegetation with increased distance inland. This is known as dune succession. A dune slack is a trough formed by the removal of sand from the leeward side of one dune and up the windward side of another. Sometimes they are eroded down to the water table, and as a result a salty pond develops. Now that you have revised sand dunes, have a go at these questions. Why is a large tidal range important for sand dune formation? How do plants stabilise sand dunes? What is a dune slack? Name a type of plant which grows on sand dunes. Pause the video now before the answers are shown. A large tidal range is important as it allows the sand to dry out. Plants have roots which help bind the sand particles together, thus stabling the sand dune. A dune slack is a trough caused by erosion of the leeward side of one dune and the windward side of another dune. And a type of plant which grows on a sand dune is marram grass.